How do we intro this? Oh my god! Maybe that could be our intro. Just completely dark and just, what's up?
Hello, welcome to Shitty Setup Video 1.
Welcome to Carbon Kings. This is the first video, and we're bad at it.
Well, that's okay, because once we get more subscribers.
Okay. Let's start with the video. Have you ever heard of Grand Illusions at all?
No.
I'll give you a little overview. It's this one dude, I think his name's Tim, and what he does is he reviews his entire collection of items. He collects everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Everything. Every fucking thing.
Oh, my guy's got a whole intro.
I don't think I've ever seen this one before. I've also just been...
Quickness of the hand, to seize the eye, well sometimes. What is it? It's a ball on a bit of elastic, designed by a German. I remember seeing him at Nuremberg wearing a little smart, dapper suit and making this thing go back and forward as quick as you could. You have to let go of it, shoots across, and you've got it back in his hand. Let go, shoot across.
I feel like I'm watching a really fast nature
It's like a
documentary.
torture device. You just get like a little prisoner of war and nuts
You
in
know
the middle
what,
and just...
It honestly could be, because I didn't understand anything he said, so honestly at this point it could be.
Well, maybe.
It's a nice finger fiddle, and that's what I'm looking at now. Things that entertain the fingers and are fun to look at as well. A feast for the eyes and a feast for the fingers. That's a nice one.
A feast for the fingers.
Here's another one.
Moving mad, this guy. Let's get up.
Feast for the
But simply a long string that's been coiled 3 times around and then interwound as well to create a very enjoyable and quite a nice little feel to it as well. It's almost...
You know he has nothing else to do, right? This is a 13-minute video. He's gonna sit there the whole time, and the thing is, he's truly fascinated by whatever he's holding.
My man he's holding a bracelet.
big enough to put on the hand, not quite big enough, but it'll fit up and down some of the fingers as well. It's got a lovely feel to it.
Wait. You see that? That's a feast for the fingers. Look at it.
Not quite
Look
big
at
enough.
it. Right through.
Down some of the fingers as well.
And
It's got a
now,
lovely feel to it.
a feast
A
for
jolly
the
good finger
ears.
fiddle, that. Here's a simple clackers one. This is a nice one. It's got a handle to it. When you up and down, like that,
And this one
You're at work, you're just like...
back in the good old parents take us out to dinner scene. Sitting in the booster seat, you're bored. No Game Boy at the table. Whip out one of these. That'd be kind of sick.
Now, little Timmy, we're gonna need a...
But not
We're gonna
that.
need to keep quiet during this fancy dinner.
That's right.
Oh, actually,
Here's
that's
a
kind of
very, very
sick.
attractive shape.
I think you just
It's a nice
invented a
triangle, but it's
tesseract.
triangle on the table. It's really nice, isn't it? There we are.
That's actually
Triangle
very
down,
cool.
Triangular table with things sticking
Yeah.
out. Keep
I mean,
going. You've got
Is
this
it
strange
useful?
shape
God,
here.
no.
Well, I mean,
As we come round,
I guess
sometimes
it
becomes
serves
cube
its
again.
purpose.
Extraordinary. So it starts off
Oh, it
as
doesn't even turn back into a cube
Wait,
anymore.
little bits of
You know, the one thing that I like about his videos is that he plays with all these things, and then just like whenever he's like done like showing you one, he just like throws it like away.
Wait, how many? 1.8 million views. What an absolute
He has
legend.
1.43 million subscribers.
What an absolute legend.
Yeah, dude, it's untapped content.
gyro rings. It's a series of little rings, all slightly concave, so they slip into each other, and you can actually, by moving them, almost
That looks
complete a
absolute-
sphere.
That looks frustrating as shit. It looks like you
just-
just like you can't like
You
you just
know,
can't.
I never understood what fidget toys were for.
Well, it's like if you're Yeah, like if you're like me, where I like have to shake my leg.
I do that too, but I'm quite content with shaking my leg.
Yeah, well, some people don't want to shake their leg.
I mean, I'm sure some people need it to help them focus,
Why do you
right?
think fidget spinners were such a thing?
Well, honestly, I think 95% of the people. You know, remember silly bands? Completely useless. They were insane.
I know you could probably trade like one like rocket silly band for
was-
like a bar of gold.
Nice.
Something back in the day.
I was strapped. I came into school and they're like, "What you got today?" And just roll up the sleeves, and they'd be like, the price tag right here on me. It's like one of those cosmic brownie for like one porcupine like silly band.
$75,000 for that one?
It's tie dye.
That seems like a pretty good deal.
Kind of a kingpin back then.
Silly band pimp number 1 right here.
Yeah, day one, silly band. See what I'm saying? But that's what I really think fidget spinners were. I think fidget spinners were a bunch of people trying to do a silly band thing again. Because I'm sure there's people that needed them, but not everyone that had them needed them.
Yeah. I mean, the fidget thing's still alive though.
Fidget widget.
I think that's the end of that one.
You can assemble it or disassemble it as you wish, and it's a
Look, I swear,
entertaining and
I'm calling it right now. He's gonna take it completely apart and just shove it to the side.
Just throw it out into the garbage.
right order. So a very nice finger fiddle, that one.
One of those is just
See, he just fucking push it into the corner.
some of the stuff he has is just a regular like dollar. This is definitely one
Here's
trip
one
to
that's
the
taken
dollar store.
ages to sort out.
There's no way he collects. This is one trip to the dollar store.
The barrow there.
No, you should see his other videos. He's like, oh yeah, I went to like Japan and like I found some random monk in like the middle of nowhere, and he was like, here, have this finger fidget toy.
I fought off like 12 Kyoshi Warriors avatar just to get this fiddle fidget widget. That's a feast for my fingers.
Much simpler one is this thing here, blue boots. Made of rubber. Oh, it invites you to squeeze it, of course. So,
Dude, I did not see that one coming.
Is that a baby? Or is that a cat?
It looks like a little bear.
white cat, extraordinary idea. In it goes. Huh. Squeeze it in.
That's freaking interesting as hell.
That's a feast for the eyes and the fingers, man.
That's like a good jump scare. Like,
yeah, it's just like.
alright, imagine, like, you're in your grandpa's house, right? And then you're like, oh, this is a little rubber boot, little stupid thing, rubber. What do you do with rubber things? You squeeze them. Everyone squeezes rubber things.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I think of when I see rubber things.
You just,
Little rubber bands.
well, you know those like those rubber balls in the store that have the liquid inside them. You just want to. It's actually like a super like sensitive bomb mechanism.
Dude, Iraq, gone off the planet.
You didn't happen to squeeze that blue boot I have. You know that has the launch codes preset in it for all the nuclear silos. Just like quarter of the US, just off the map.
It's got that lovely action of just going over the table, over the fingers, and a good finger fiddle to play around with, and a nice feel.
You know, I've done that before, like the wrist ones. I still don't get why it's interesting.
It's not. It's not.
I've literally just sat there. Like, I'm not even like watching like a video or
Just
anything.
kind of like zone out and you're like,
I'm literally just sitting on my bed, like staring at the ceiling, just.
maybe it just allows you to be completely like.
The prophecy is true.
I think Buddhists got it wrong. I think you need one of these things to reach full enlightenment.
I'm sure they have them.
Oh yeah, that's what they're doing in the Shaolin temples or whatever.
They make these.
The mandala is one of the oldest ever invented, I think, probably about 1,000 years old. This is a very small
What?
about 20.
This guy's 1,000 years old.
my collection, but the rings at the top are woven so that they form a hemisphere and another hemisphere. It looks like a Saturn, like a Saturn planet like that there. But then these little ones open up, close in, and form stars.
Wait, what is he doing?
I have no
It's a very
clue.
enjoyable thing to play with.
I think you need to be like Einstein to figure out how some of these toys work.
The bigger ones have pretty beads in them, and I think the Buddhists are reckon to use them as some meditation tools.
Did you see that? Did you hear that?
No.
He said the Buddhists use them for meditation.
This is proof.
It's a very enjoyable thing to play with. The bigger ones have pretty beads in them, and I think the Buddhists are reckon to use them as some meditation tools to help them meditate. But the man.
Buddhists have already. We knew it. We called it.
I'm gonna be taking a class in Buddhism, like all about Buddhist philosophy next semester. And I'm thinking that by the end of it, I'll be able to like float. Like my roommate just walks in the room and I'm just like, quiet, let the chi flow. I'm actually very interested in the Buddhist religion. It's a very interesting religion.
It's got that thing.
I mean,
That's probably the
if
most
they use
interesting
that,
thing.
what other religion do you need if you use that?
That.
A nice shape too, a heart shape. It's far too small to walk down the
See,
stairs.
that's like an
and when
arcade
you go down the
toy.
slope, it's just too short.
I'm like all with him until he whips out like an arcade
Fiddle
toy.
around as much as
Is
you like.
that what is he fucking
Fingers
doing?
through it, you can-
Look at this.
But it's a nice thing to do. You can just fiddle around as much as you like.
Yeah, I developed weaponry for the armed forces.
Yeah, heart-shaped slinky. What do you do is, what are we supposed to do with that? You just take it and just like,
Murder his arteries.
just like cuts him in half.
But it's a little thing to go whirly, 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 and something to distract your hands when you want something to fiddle with. That's a good one.
That's like a 10-ticket one. That's like if you lose the game, they pity you, so they give you a heart-shaped slinky.
It's the one where you like have like maybe like 100 points left. You can't get anything cool, so you get like 30 of those.
And your like friends are like, "Oh, can you get me a slinky?" The freeloader friends are like, "Give me a slinky, dude. Give me a slinky."
This is a serious one. Magic Kenko, the Japanese call it. This is more like a sort of wrist exerciser, but it's good for the fingers too. What do? Well, the idea is to put it in your hand and rotate it around like that. The little knobbles sort of feel good, but according to the leaflet, it's all to do with the pressure point for the heart and the kidneys and the liver, etc., etc. And it's supposed to be very good therapy.
There's no way that this cures like all diseases in the heart, kidney, and liver.
That's not the point of it, but that is true. You do have. I think the pressure points are actually associated with the heart and the kidneys, certain nerves, because this is where a lot of the nerves end. So.
Sir, we need to operate immediately. No, I've got the solution. Are you cured yet? Sir, he's dead. Just let him go. Let him go.
Put a second one in his hand. Put 4 more. Just like falling. You know, this attach a tube to his throat, just start pumping them into his body. You know what I love? What he said about this one? He was like, this one's a little more complicated than the last fucking thing that was like a map of the universe, and in this you like a barrel that you roll in your hand, and he's like, your brain might have to do a little bit of work for this one.
Just figures out like quantum physics with the last one. This one's like, this one's a little bit more complicated.
This is cat in a boot.
Catch it up.
This sophisticated one was designed by a guy called Andy Sutton. I've talked to him on the phone, but haven't met him about 20 years ago. It's called Continual Motion.
I'm having cigarette problems since 20 years.
So this is my favorite finger widget because it
I threw all these
fuels my addiction.
You have to choose your pair rather carefully to get you started. I think it's that pair there, and I think it's probably that pair there. And then you've got to do an action like this.
What?
To my hands, the way they're moving. And look at the
Fourth dimensions are being broken with fidget toys.
action is. And the idea is to move like that, and then if you're getting good at it, you've got to put 3 fingers there and 3 fingers there and do the same thing. But that's much harder with the fingers. Coordinated motion. Which a friend of mine for many
Wait,
years.
do you see that? Is that just bubble wrap?
That's legendary.
I swear, if like one of his next things, yeah, I just got a sheet of bubble wrap.
Designed in America This is a lovely piece, because again, you can make it do a little nice twiddly action, which is
That's
very sweet.
so dumb.
But the basic piece is this thing here. It's just something which you can break apart.
But I think fidget toys are supposed to be discreet. So if you're like at like a meeting and you know you're like a little stressed, you can take like your little like fidget spinner or whatever under the desk. Just so you just go like, you know, hold on, Bob. And
you have like one of those connects like marble roller coasters just in your pocket. You're just like, I'm just a little distracted. It just like sets off like a bunch of different things.
You just set up like a whole Hot Wheels track.
Like actually motorized cars.
You set up an actual racetrack.
Need to de-stress.
Now, you probably come across this stuff here, which is probably the
Yeah.
It is just bubble wrap.
simplest thing you'll even have. It's just bubble plastic, and kids love
Bubble
playing with this stuff.
plastic.
You take it and you squeeze it
fucking-
with a pop, and another one with a
You can't label it bubble
Put it
plastic.
I've had them in greeting cards where you pop it, or on the carpets where kids dance up and down, going pop, 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 pop. So far, so good. But the Japanese.
Wait, what's he gonna say about the Japanese with bubble wrap?
You said Japanese?
Here we go back.
So far, so good. But the Japanese always have to go one better. What have they done? They made a version which
The
never runs
Japanese-
out. Because this, after about 30
What?
seconds, is all finished.
Japanese are freaking innovation leaders of the world.
Here's one which will last much longer, 2 or 3 weeks. It's battery operated. Bubble popper, would you believe? Bubble plastic, but
Battery
it's got a
operated
battery
bubble wrap?
inside. It's got a little chip. It's got a loudspeaker. When you press it, you just about hear a little click sound.
Doesn't seem the
That
same.
click is not mechanical. It's produced by.
I think one of the reasons why bubble wrap is so satisfying is because you're actually like destroying something.
Yeah, it's like. See, I think that's a big thing that people like. It's innate that like destruction is just like.
It's fun. That's why you have like demolition rooms where you have like the sledgehammer. You
Just like a long day, you get home from work, and just like bills on the table, and then you just like 4 trillion tons of bubble wrap. You're just on your deathbed. And, like,
You're on your deathbed?
Yeah, like a
What a
little-
stressful situation.
you have like a little bit of energy left. Your whole family's there. They're like, "We love you," and you're just like,
Fucking die right there.
got the last bubble though.
That will do as well as anything. What do you think?
Who's filming this for him?
That was the last one. That was a shitty last one, I think.
Oh yeah. You
All
should
right.
have saved like.
Okay. So we have to. What's your favorite and why? I think Cat Boot is my favorite.
Cat food had that surprise factor, but think about this. After you know about it,
Yeah, but like, okay, look, just like you at your desk, you have like a little shoe on your desk, and you're like, oh, you might be a little fan of shoes. Cat.
need like a little perk me up. You're like,
I'd have to
are you
just
still there,
spat
boy?
All over you. And you also have a companion.
Here's my thing now. Here's my thing. As a person that gets wildly distracted very easily, I like to imagine things like the toys I have. Like if I had a gripper in school,
Gripper.
like you know the gripper to the pencils, those little
Oh,
rubber
yeah.
grippers. All the time I would pretend that I had like 2 grippers and I would have them fighting, like as if they were like agents.
I did the same thing except with pencils.
Yeah, like.
No, I pretended my pencils were submarines with like
Oh, I do missiles.
fish evil people and then like humans
I
who are
do
trying
missiles,
to
yeah.
survive.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of value that. Like, which one could I grab and then be like, oh shit, now you're Saturn, but now you're breaking physics. I think that the one that the Buddhists
You're going with the Buddhist meditation ritual.
because then I could be like transforming ship. Like that'd be kind of sick. I feel like that's the one my imagination would go with.
Now let's go for an outro here. Fucking like and subscribe or he gets it.